Welcome to the abbreviated edition of the Dirty Sheets this week. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here to tell you some news that we are going to be doing this week and run through a few things. I'm Cav Manning from the Lingus Mafia podcast. My co-pilot in the pilot's chair next to me over here is Mr. Billy Body.
Oh, does it sound like I'm in a car?
It did for right then. Now you're okay again.
Well,
it's much better now.
I am. Yeah, it should be okay. Like, Porsches are fairly quiet, so when you're driving around, I don't have one of them cheap cars that Conan probably drives around in.
So we are going to talk about a couple things, but this show is mostly to tell you that on Sunday this week, we will be sending out a YouTube show. So you can watch our gorgeous faces on YouTube and give you a rundown of what is to come in the future of the Dirty Sheets conglomerate, I guess we would be calling it. There's going to be a bunch of things that are going to be for you guys to enjoy and listen to when it comes to Billy and myself, mostly Billy. He's the guy that you're here to listen to in the first place. We all know that. So you want to give just a little bit of a taste, Billy?
Yeah, definitely. Like, I don't mind spoiling the main part because it's important to stipulate that a lot of times where we've gone on YouTube, we've ended up putting the show out on here. We're not doing that. We are only talking about this stuff on YouTube. So if you want to know what's going to be happening moving forward, you have to watch the YouTube video on Sunday. And the reason we are doing that is because we need some hits on YouTube. Previously, when me and Nick, who I don't even know if guys know who Nick is, but Nick, who started the Dirty Sheets with me back in 2015 when we broke away from the geeks at Steel Cage, he set up a YouTube channel and we were doing news and bits on there, other videos and whatnot. And we built up a subscriber base which qualified us for monetization. Now, because of the inactivity on there, we no longer qualify for monetization. We have not produced enough content to enough content for well, actually we haven't even posted enough videos. We've only posted one video up there in all of 2023. Now that doesn't count as podcasts that also go up as videos, because I get a few comments from these K100 losers going, oh, you've only got 200 views on your YouTube video. It's like, dickhead, I've got thousands of listens of this same show on my podcast. Nobody's going to tune in to watch static in the background unless our faces are actually there. There's no reason to listen to us via YouTube. But we did specifically upload the CM Punk video, as Cav said, so you can listen and hear and listen to us and see our faces. And that one ended up doing 1,300, which is a good start. But we need 3,000 views across our specifically uploaded videos in order to qualify for monetization. The reason why we want to remonetize is because we want to slightly remodel the show. We are now hitting numbers that we haven't touched since 2017. I don't know why. I don't know what the reason is. I can speculate that I wasn't actually that unpopular on Keeping It 100. And those people have decided, fuck, we want to follow that guy to where he continues to speak and where I have spoken for the last 8 years, believe it or not. 8 years I've been here on the show doing the Dirty Sheets. And now I believe a significant chunk of that audience who don't want to listen to old has-beens talking about wrestling, because we already got enough of those podcasts, have decided that they do want to follow the news. They do want to follow the guy that knows what he's talking about. We do want to follow the guy who has a opinion that's actually relevant and in date. Somebody that's been on television, somebody who's watched wrestling for 33 years, somebody who isn't 60 years old. So they've decided to follow along and come to this show. And therefore, I want to utilize that audience. And I want to give people the opportunity to participate in the show. So in order to do that thing where you can make comments and post super chats and all that kind of stuff, which, you know, much worse podcasts like JD from New York are able to do, we need to qualify. So we need to have 3,000 listens across our posted videos. And we need to get to that very, very quickly. The quicker we get there, the quicker you guys can be a part of this show. So we're going to change the show slightly. It's still going to be the same show that you love or hate. You could be hate listening. I don't know. I don't care either. So, and if you are hate listening, then cool. Let's have an argument about it. Let's come over to the comments. Tell me what a piece of shit I am. Tell me how I'm transphobic. I was going to say transphobic.
You're handsome-phobic.
Racist. Handsome. What? Oh God, you got me saying it twice. Homophobic, transphobic, racist, sexist, piece of shit. All that stuff you want to say on Twitter. You can say it live, and I can respond live on the show. But in order to make all that happen, these videos that we post directly need to be watched. So I'm not going to let you be lazy and listen to the show. It's not going to turn into a podcast. This is the only very short podcast you're going to get this week. So I think that's it's not just a tease. That is the whole story.
Yeah. So
obviously it's not. Doesn't tell you anything the show's going to be about. The show's going to be just your normal show. We're going to talk about a couple of very quick fire topics here, and then your normal show is going to be over there.
Yeah, and just a little peek behind the curtain about things that are to come. There's going to be more shows from the Dirty Sheets.
Right.
So when you're getting into subscribing over there, you're going to be getting bonus shows from Billy, like multiple shows a week. I'm going to be sending in my own show that I'll be doing by myself as well. And then we're going to have shows that we do together too. You're still going to be able to get the Dirty Sheets once a week. But there is multiple shows for people to listen to. So you will be getting something back. You won't be just, the same old stuff. But the fun thing will be doing that super chat type of thing, because that is going to be the participation part. And me and Billy were playing with ideas to where I said, we could have an area where if people pay a certain amount, they could say whatever they want and I'll read it. So it could be let's have a bashing Billy session. If you hate Billy, you pay and I'll read every fucking word you say. I don't care what the fuck it is. And he's got to take it and he's got to reply to it. So that could be a fun thing to do too. We could do a roast of Billy. So
and also, as we said, like when you say that, Cav might agree with you, because I get roasted all week anyway. Like there are conversations that happen outside of the show, and as much as like when it comes to wrestling, sometimes we can be very agreeable because we like the same kind of shit. We tried to get Russo. We both were in agreement that was a show that we both really wanted to do with Vince. Unfortunately, he had zero investment in it. But yeah, I mean, we're very like-minded. But actually, through the week, in terms of other topics and whatnot, we're not. So he might say something, you might touch a nerve or hit the nail on the head with something that Cav agrees with. But anyway, like as I said, that's not the main reason. The main reason is to actually encourage our participation, to have more of a Q&A element to this, because we do have notes for this show, but a lot of the time, it just it's kind of done on the fly. But then once it's done, I get a lot of questions saying, or a lot of responses saying, "Oh, I liked it when you did this, and I liked it when you did that." People particularly like me dipping into the history side of things. And if people do like that type of content, then you'll enjoy what's coming up on Sunday, because we are going to find a way to dig a little bit deeper and to and bring you more historical-based content for those guys that do enjoy that part. And I do get a lot of comments about the historical stuff when we do kind of accidentally go into that territory. People do tend to like it. So, yeah.
You know what was really interesting is how many people came out to say, I loved the last 10 minutes of the show last week where me and you just started shooting the shit about Saturday Night's Main Event, since my show is doing a whole review of Saturday Night's Main Event. And we just went into one episode talking about it, and people fucking loved it because it was the old stuff. So I'm like, we could easily, do the thing to where we put up a poll. Do you want us to talk about a fucking In Your House, whatever, and go through an old episode of whatever, or the best Raw you've ever seen. Tell us which one it is. Maybe we'll do a watch along, not a watch along, but we'll watch it and fucking then talk about it afterwards. There's just tons of possibilities for
and
everybody.
And that's the thing. Like, and here's the thing, right? Like, so I didn't know I expect this audience to grow like this off the back of coming off Keeping It 100. If I had done, I would have left the show ages ago. There's a text trail. Like it was debated this week in terms of, oh, you're saying you weren't fired. You were saying, oh, you're trying to like change the story. No, I'm not. I came on the show straight away and explained the reason. I was told quite categorically that they were trying to hand me down a suspension without actually saying the word suspension. They were saying that, oh, Conan wants you to take a break, at which I said, I ain't taking no break. Like, I'm not taking no break. I want to come on and talk about how Roman Reigns won and how all you guys were wrong about Cody, but they didn't give me that opportunity. So I said, if I'm not going to come on here and get the chance to review WrestleMania, then I'm going to leave. That's the story. Was I told not to come on that week and for probably a few weeks after? Yes. Did they desperately want me back to cover the upcoming betting content that was coming up, particularly a big UFC show? Yeah, that was actually outlined as my comeback day, of which I turned around and said, go fuck yourself. And Cav will know there's a whole trail of texts where I said, Jesus Christ, I cannot get fired off the show. Yeah. I cannot fucking get chucked off the show. Whenever I'm not happy about this, I've told them about it, and they've turned around and said, we'll change this and that. They up my pay. They changed certain things on the show with the negative emails about me. We're about to enter a realm where I was going to be able to respond to those directly. They said they wouldn't read my emails until I was actually on. Loads of stuff was changing. Loads of stuff continually changed because, admittedly, I'm a difficult person to work with. I will moan. And I will leave places like I have done, left loads of places. If I don't get my way, I'm not going to cover wrestling unless it's exactly my way and how I want to do things. So that's what happened with Steel Cage. That's what happened with Sportskeeda. That's what happened with Wrestling Inc., where they wanted me to tone down my podcast and things like that. Most of the time, I have walked out. Even with Russo, I left Russo to go somewhere else. There is in fact no example of anybody turning around and saying we want to get rid of you, because I think I'm just too valuable to everywhere that I work. There's nobody that's ever turned around and said that.
I thought there was only one ever, and I forget who the hell it was, but I thought there was one. Am I wrong?
There's ultimatums of change this or go. But it's always been ultimatums where I've decided to go. I decided to leave Wrestling Inc. Because Raj told me to. We had to tone down our podcast. We couldn't make jokes about JR's wife or anything. So I was like, fuck this. There was Sportskeeda knew that I was leaving to do a different project, which was basically to basically make the Dirty Sheets a YouTube channel where me and Nick would do our own news. So they pretended that they were letting me go, which was bullshit. Then there was Russo. I left Russo to go to K100, already had the offer. And K100 I left because they were trying to suspend me. So actually, no, there isn't anything. There's always been behave yourself, or we're going to get rid of you. And I've always been like, nah, I can't behave myself. I won't behave myself because this is wrestling. And I'm always going to do it my way. So to that point, the last thing I'll say is, with this new audience, this brand new audience that came from by accident, this is going to be my last roll of the dice. I've said previously, and I'm willing to stick to it, that when Roman Reigns loses the title, I'm out of here. Like, I don't foresee myself being interested enough to do a
call
podcast.
Bullshit on that. There ain't no way in hell you fucking stop. I don't care what happens. Okay. I don't. You are addicted to this as badly as I am when it comes to watching the motherfucker.
Oh, I didn't say I wasn't going to watch. Okay. I did say I'm not going to engage about wrestling and do content. That's a totally different thing, and that's how it stands at the moment. But there is a but. So that is where my stance is at the moment, and that was my stance after I left, keeping it 100. But with this newfound audience, this newly grown audience that came from nowhere, if guys do support the show and we can grow something which is parallel to that JD from New York or the guys at Post Wrestling or Fightful or whatever, if we can finally grow this shit. And I'm not talking about the news side, because everyone wants the news. Hey, what's the news? Oh, go and tell us what's going to happen. Can you tell who's going to win the belt? No. I'm not talking about news. I'm talking about respect for the fact that we do a good show that people enjoy. So if we can now monetize this the way that we deserve, and we are supported for talking about the weekly wrestling, just talking about historical wrestling, just generally coming on here and being entertaining, which I feel that we are and others do too. If there is actually a market for that, and we are able to monetize that successfully, and people are in support of this alternative community, because it's all good and well saying, oh, we're the alternative community. That's great. But the geek community, the Meltzer, the Sean Ross Sapps, all these losers, all these woke morons who give you the paint by numbers bullshit, all this safe, boring content, guys that aren't taking any risk of being cancelled and losing money anywhere else, they manage to get paid. They manage to get paid for the most boring shit possible that you could listen to. And I'm not getting paid for taking risks, for saying what I want, for putting my heart on my sleeve, for risking cancellation, for losing money. I'm not getting rewarded whatsoever. So if you can't actually invest in this alternative community that I can create, then there's no point in me being the alternative. You may as well get the same dross that everybody else gives out. So if you want the alternative, then invest in it equally to how you would invest in the other bullshit. And we'll stick around. Roman will lose, but we'll still be here. Talking about how bad wrestling is without Roman Reigns. We'll be here to do that, providing it's worth doing. Do you want to talk about a couple of bits?
Yeah, we can. I was going to say, this is where it will change. Roman will lose, but it'll be a great storyline that he lost to, and will continue on to be a great story. And then you'll go, well, they went into this though, which is good. So after LA Knight wins the title from him, we'll talk about it. So, let's talk about a couple tidbits that happened this week, just to give you guys a little bit of something for your time.
And just to give you guys, and just before he does that, the Ronda Rousey thing isn't one of the things we can talk about. So there was a story on my Patreon. We said we'd talk about it this week. We will, and it'll be on YouTube. It'll be the first thing that we say after we've discussed the new initiatives and whatnot. So the Ronda Rousey thing, if you're not, obviously there'll be some people going, oh, I'm not going to pay for anything. Cool. Just go and watch YouTube though, and you'll get your bit of news over there for Ronda.
Yeah, you'll still get free stuff over on YouTube. So this week they had old Dominic Mysterio win the title from Wes Lee, which is a horrible wrestling name, by the way. New North American champion. I kind of like that they float around and do this kind of thing, and You think this is going to create a little something where Finn's the only one that doesn't have something, and that's why he's a little pissy? But I called my shot on my show, Lingus Mafia Podcast, this week, where I said I think Finn wins this title at SummerSlam, and then Priest takes it from him right then and there.
That's difficult for me to see because for a couple of reasons. I think it weakens Seth Rollins. The only way that I do see him losing that title is with Roman Reigns being involved, because I think through media interviews and whatnot, it does seem very much like there's still a teasing of Roman versus Seth there. Mm-hmm. So I do believe that will be a match that you're trying to get to. So it's either going to be that Survivor Series version where I prefer it not to be that, but it will be title for title, nothing on the line, just 1 point for your brand, that kind of bullshit. But that's where you could still get Rollins versus Roman. There'll still be intrigue because people will want to see who wins. Mm-hmm. But I would rather it be Rollins losing his belt because he talked too much shit about Roman. Roman costs him the title and he gets cashed in on, whilst Roman's rendered him unconscious, and then we can build towards Seth. We'll build towards Seth trying to take his title. But the other reason is because you are heading into a season where I believe WWE have done a good job with their ratings at the moment. SmackDown's doing well, Raw's doing okay. It's nearly hitting the 2 million mark, which is good in this day and age. In fact, I think if you added up Collision, Rampage, and Dynamite this week, Raw did better than them. All three of them put together.
I thought Collision was an actual really good show this week. I really liked the tag match. I thought it was good. I thought it was smart. I talked about this on my show about I had some people complain, they say it's too long, right? I said it's more realistic to me that the first fall was 20 minutes because a normal match would have been 20 minutes anyway. I don't like these 2 out of 3 falls to where they go, oh, 5 minutes the first fall. You go, well, the guys would have never fucking lost in the first 5 minutes if this was a regular match. So it made more sense to me that way. I thought Dynamite was a fucking disaster this week. Like with a lot of fucking weird shit that made no sense to me. It has a completely different feel, Dynamite, compared to Collision.
Well, my point that I was going to make, and we can talk about all of that on the other show. One of the main things that we will save and we'll discuss on the show. So we're actually going to give you the run the story, and we're going to give you a topic. I would like to debate on that show what the hell happened to the new rules that AEW put out, because they broke every single one of them on Wednesday. My theory is that there's a starting date on that, because it could not have started this week. But we won't say another word about it, and we'll discuss it on the other show. Getting back to my point.
Sure.
My point is that Raw's ratings and WWE ratings are generally good.
Yeah.
Do you do well? Do you go into NFL season where you're going to have a dip anyway? Especially with some of the bigger games, do you risk going in there and Damian Priest is your champion on Raw? Is that a risk, or is that a case of, oh shit, like I want to see this, I actually want to see what this looks like? And also, if it happens after SummerSlam, then you've already seen it for 6 weeks, and is it working to the point where you carry on watching, or do you just play safe and go with Seth Rollins? And I guess the question would be, if you do go with Seth Rollins, how do you create intriguing feuds and opponents for him to go up against that take you through NFL season? Because I don't really think you have the bodies there.
My first thought is my best guess is that the first week of NFL season with Monday Night Football, they all of a sudden say Roman Reigns is making a special appearance on Monday. And I think they're going to try. I really think they will try to do something. I really like your theory of that Roman gets sick of Seth talking shit, lays him the fuck out, and Priest shows up. I think that could work. Or even to do a swerve, bro, is to have Roman and Rollins get into shit and have fucking Rollins lay out Roman. And have Priest come into the ring and Seth be like, there you go. And then fucking Priest lays out fucking Seth. So you're thinking he's going to go for the pin on fucking Roman, but he goes, fuck you, and lays Seth the fuck out and wins his fucking belt. Where it's like, you motherfucker. So, but I think it's just too much to think about. And I think the way you had it was right.
Yeah, I just think like there can be a lot of shit talking. And the thing is, what you could even do is, this is a good one. You can do that match between Seth and Roman, right? At Survivor Series, title, like champion versus champion, no title on the line. You can have Seth beat Roman, right? And that's why Roman is so bitter, because he then, as Seth's getting his hand raised by the referee, and in the main event of Survivor Series, Roman can then come in and smash him. He can go in for the handshake. Or it could be like, no, we won't do the handshake. We'll do the shield thing. Like, we'll do the shield thing. And then Seth accepts it, and as he like turns his back around, Roman then nails him, and then he beats the shit. Or what was the thing that? Or he could be like, he could hit him, and he could go back to, you know how they tell like old stories, and they go back to things. In some way, you could have Roman hit Seth in the back with a chair.
Yeah.
After he could do the shield thing, leave the ring, Seth's in there celebrating, and then Roman comes in and hits him in the back with a chair. And we go full circle to that story. Roman beats him up, Damian Priest comes in, wins the belt, and now Seth has a rematch because he beat Roman at Royal Rumble, which Seth loses. Nobody loses anything because they're 1-1. Roman still keeps his belt. Like that could be what
you got to try to fucking tell Drew to fucking hand this to the fucking office, because that's good. You got to have them fucking hear this. Somebody's got to hear it. Because that's not a fucking bad thing.
This is why I've had these job offers that people don't believe that I've had. And then And I've always adamantly said, I just cannot leave England to do this job. But also, it wasn't a case of you come on and you'll be like head writer or you'll be fully indoctrinated into the writing process. It was a case of one guy saying, hey, I'll bring you in, you come and work under me directly, which was just a case of, well, what does that mean? And what does that pay? And what security is with that? So I think we know who that guy is. We know the year that happened. And if we don't, we'll talk about it again on the other show. Do you have anything else you think we should talk about here, or just leave?
No, I think we gave them an actual hell. We gave them a fucking show this week when we all wanted to do was give an announcement. So yes, if they just look for the Dirty Sheets on YouTube, you'll find it and you'll see Billy's cartoon picture and everything like that. I thought
there'll be links. There'll be links all over. Just follow us on Twitter. My Twitter is @LockBettingCom. Cavs is @Lingus Mafia. There'll be immediate links posted, so it won't be something you can miss.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, we will see you on Sunday over there for more announcement and all my shit. Patreon.com/Lingus Mafia. 7-day free trial right now. Sign up and you can get the 41 Days of Lingus Saturday night's main event. Costs you nothing to fucking listen. So go over there and we're putting in a lot of work over there. So fucking, humor me and do that. So that's it. We'll see you on Sunday. I'm Cav. He's Billy. See you then.